A massive Israeli strike has targeted the Syrian Defense Ministry.
Four Israeli military helicopters have landed southwest of the Syrian capital.
Israel is attacking Syria. Airstrikes flash over Damascus, armor burns on desert roads, and the quiet hills of Suwaida rattle under the sound of jets. Tel Aviv says it's acting to protect Druze communities near Golan. Damascus calls it a violation of sovereignty. And on the ground, a local feud has spiraled into a regional flashpoint. Borders that look clean on a map blur in the dust. Militias trade fire with tribesmen. Syrian units push south, and Israel signals it won't stand by if Druze civilians are caught in the crossfire. At the center of it all is the Druze, a tight-knit mountain people spread across Syria, Lebanon, Israel, and Jordan, whose wary policies and fierce communal loyalty have helped them survive for centuries. Today, those instincts are being tested. Their towns sit at the junction of enemies, allies, and old promises, and every move made in Jerusalem or Damascus ripples through their neighborhoods within hours. Before we break down who the Druze are, where they live, and how they fit into regional power plays, why some are fighting Syrian government forces, and what's really driving Israel's intervention, make sure you've subscribed, liked the video, and hit the bell icon so you never miss our deep dives into the world's most fascinating regions. The Druze are an Arab sect of about 1 million people. Most live in Syria, Lebanon, and Israel. In Syria, they're concentrated in 3 southern provinces near the Israeli-occupied Golan Heights. They practice an offshoot of Islam that began in 11th century Egypt. No one can convert in or out. No intermarriage is allowed. More than 20,000 Druze live in the Golan Heights alongside about 25,000 Israeli settlers. Inside Israel, 130,000 Druze live in the north, mostly in the Carmel and Galilee regions. Unlike most minorities in Israel, Druze men are conscripted into the military. Many have risen to high ranks in the army, police, and intelligence. The Druze, though small in number, have long punched above their weight in Middle Eastern politics. Their communities stretch across Syria, Lebanon, Israel, and Jordan, with each branch shaped by the state it lives under. In Israel, roughly 150,000 Druze are seen as a loyal minority. Unlike Palestinian Arabs, Druze men are drafted into the Israeli army, many rising to high ranks in the IDF, police, and intelligence. That loyalty means their voices carry weight in Israel's politics, and when Syrian Druze call for help, Israeli leaders feel pressure to respond. Across the border, more than 20,000 Druze live in the Israeli-occupied Golan Heights. Most still identify as Syrian, even though their villages sit under Israeli rule. Families there maintain cultural and familial ties with Druze in Syria's Suwaida province. In Lebanon, Druze leaders have often steered national politics. One even ran a major party and allied with Palestinian militants in the past. This fragmented map has left Druze communities loyal to states that are sometimes at war with each other. Their strategy of survival has always been pragmatism, loyalty to their host country. But in today's Syria, where Islamists dominate the new regime, that strategy is being tested. In post-Assad Syria, Druze militias find themselves clashing with the new government under President Ahmed al-Shar. Al-Shar rose to power after Assad's ouster, promising inclusion and stability. Yet, his record has alienated minorities. Only one Druze minister was appointed to his 23-member cabinet, and key Druze leaders were excluded from national dialogue. More troubling, pro-government Sunni Bedouin tribes, long rivals of the Druze, were integrated into Syria's new military. When clashes erupted in Suwaida, Druze saw government troops siding with their enemies. Reports surfaced of Druze homes being burned and men humiliated, fueling deep distrust. The central dispute is disarmament. Al-Shar wants all militias absorbed into the national army, but Druze fighters refuse to surrender their weapons, fearing extermination. They point to the massacres of Alawite in Latakia and escalating Bedouin attacks as proof they cannot rely on Damascus for protection. Al-Shar's Islamist background and alleged jihadist past have sharpened Druze suspicion, with many fearing sectarian retribution. Violence has already left hundreds dead in southern Syria this year, including more than 100 in April alone. For Druze leaders, keeping arms isn't just about pride, it's about survival in a state they see as increasingly hostile to minorities. Israel's military involvement in southern Syria is framed as a defense of the Druze, but its motivations run deeper. Officially, Prime Minister Netanyahu has called Syrian Druze brothers of Israel's Druze citizens, citing familial and historic ties. Statements from his office stress a commitment to prevent harm from Druze civilians in Suwada. Israeli leaders face domestic pressure. The Druze of Israel, especially in the Galilee, have long served in the IDF and expect solidarity. Allowing their relatives across the border to be massacred would risk a political rupture at home. Strategically, Israel is also drawing red lines against the presence of hostile forces near the Golan Heights. It has declared a demilitarized zone in southern Syria and struck Syrian armor, tanks, and even headquarters in Damascus to enforce it. Yet, the calculus is complicated. Israel and Syria under al-Shar were engaged in indirect talks encouraged by Washington, with U.S. officials pushing Syria toward the Abraham Accords. Strikes on Syrian troops undermine those prospects, raising doubts about normalization. Still, for Israel, securing the Golan frontier and showing loyalty to its Druze citizens outweigh diplomatic risks. Intervention may complicate peace, but it bolsters deterrence and strengthens ties with Druze on both sides of the border. The spark for the latest bloodshed in Suwada was small but deadly. A Bedouin checkpoint robbery of a Druze vegetable seller spiraled into kidnappings, reprisals, and open warfare. Soon, Druze militias and Bedouin fighters were trading fire, with Syrian government troops joining on the side of the Bedouin. Videos surfaced of soldiers burning Druze homes and humiliating men, deepening outrage. By midweek, over 350 people were dead, churches and houses destroyed, and hundreds of Druze fled toward Israel. In response, Israel launched a wave of strikes, targeting Syrian military vehicles, tanks, and eventually even Damascus itself. IDF spokespeople called the raids a direct message to al-Shar, whose past ties to al-Qaeda remain a political liability. At the same time, Israel allowed Golan Druze to cross the border carrying weapons to defend their kin, a rare gesture of cross-frontier solidarity. Damascus condemned the airstrikes as blatant violations of sovereignty, while al-Shar insisted the Druze are part of Syria's national fabric. Yet, distrust remains high, and a ceasefire announced midweek looks fragile. Southern Syria is once again a tinderbox, with Druze villages caught between Bedouin rivals, an Islamist-led government, and an Israeli military that has made their defense a strategic priority. The Druze story is one of survival and shifting loyalties. Want more fascinating insights like this? Like, share, and please subscribe to our channel so we can keep uncovering the global conflicts and exploring the forces behind them.